Hi, welcome to the Work From Home series, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about how do you effectively run virtual meetings, right? And it's very simple. I think at the start of it, if you're running a meeting, you have to start with the basics, which is you must set ground rules. Just like normal meetings, right? You always want to have ground rules and simple ground rules, right? Set it up so that, hey guys, welcome, everyone, off your phones, right? We are not going to have phones to disturb us during this meeting. We want to make sure there's nobody checking emails, right? And how do you do that? You make sure that video is turned on. So when you have video, you can see people. And if they're disconnected or they're disengaged, you get to pulse, hey, there's some disengagement going. You got to get them back into the meeting, or you reinforce it again, if you've been making a point or if somebody was talking and summarize it, right? So use video. Now, the other piece that's very important is use facilitators. Or be a facilitator yourself. So learn the dynamics of facilitation. So that's basic facilitation. How do you engage people? How do you call on people, right? Sometimes you need to call on person. Hey, get everyone involved. Hey, I hear, Jaslyn, you've not been speaking much, or Sashi, you haven't been saying much. Can I hear your input? Draw them in, right? So that's the basics, in terms of ground rules, right? But now the second piece is how do we have a clarity that happens in the meeting. So make sure you have an agenda, right? And be upfront about it at the start of the meeting. Hey guys, here's the agenda, here's what we're going to cover, here's what we won't be covering, or if we will be covering it, we will put it under this section, which is any other business, or thoughts, or some section that we say we're going to capture this. Maybe it's a parking lot, right? So be very clear about having an agenda, right? Now, if possible, minimize presentation length, right? Because sometimes if you say, hey, with this guy, we're going to give him a presentation, it's 45 minutes, right? You're going to see a lot of disengagement, and people are going to stop showing you the video, or they're going to mute, and they might be doing a whole bunch of things. So you have no idea how effective the presentation is. Try to keep presentations 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or do it 10 minutes, and then, hey, let's just check in. How's everyone doing? What are your thoughts on the first part of the presentation? Let's go to the second part now. Again, 10 minutes, and then go to the next part, right? And if possible, if the presentation is long, use icebreakers, or in general, just use icebreakers during meetings, So the meeting is going to be an hour. After about 30 minutes, hey guys, let's do a quick virtual exercise. Everybody jumps up, or let's everyone kind of do 20 push-ups, or something that will liven these things up, but also be able to do a bit of icebreakers that typically happens in natural meetings. You can do it virtually too, right? Now, so at the start of the meeting, what happens? At the start of the meeting, you need to check in with people. Why? Because if you think about people, right? Now, generally, most of the time before a meeting, in a normal, non-virtual setting, what happens is we are in an office, and we are in the water cooler or the pantry, or in the morning, we check in with people. Hey, how's happening? How's your weekend? What happened yesterday? Oh, really? Wow, this happening in your life? I mean, there's always this period where we do this anyway naturally before a meeting. Now, when we do it virtually, people are not checked in. So, spend maybe 5-6 minutes just checking in. Hey, how's everyone? How are you, Samantha? How are you, Hui Ming? How are you, Moose? How are you, Farhan? What's happening, right? And when you check in, right, people sort of get connected, rebonded, and that's very important, right? So have that check-in as a process at the start of the meeting, right? In every case. Then, like that, have the presentation, keep the length, minimize the length, have the icebreakers, have the facilitator, make sure there's facilitation, check-in, and so on and so forth. Now, at the end of the meeting, so what happens at the end of a virtual meeting? At the end of a meeting, right, you need to say, okay guys, great job, Rob. After the meeting, the moment you finish the meeting, you want to summarize what happened in the meeting and send out an email, or send out a chat, a WhatsApp message or a chat message. Just send it out and say, hey guys, this is what we spoke about. These are decisions we made, and here's the action items, and boom, send it out. Why you do that? Because it's very important that sometimes, especially in virtual meetings, sometimes there's lags. Sometimes someone's talking and, certain sentences just doesn't come out. Or you may have misheard some things. And this happens very typically in virtual meetings because there's the network issues, especially here in developing countries. There's a lot of sometimes network and technology issues that sometimes doesn't enable your meeting to go. So as you may have a perspective, I was speaking, it was great, but not everyone may have heard every single point that you made. So summarize it, send it out, and send up, and just put, hey, if there's anything else I missed, let me know, or if there's anything you want to amend or change, let us know. And then you can have that collaborative tools, whether and do it if possible, your minutes in something like a Google document, or a Slack, or some collaborative workspace that people get to edit. You know, Microsoft has Teams and other tools so people can edit the document, and you can kind of track, hey, who's editing and what, and then you can have that discussion. So at the end of that meeting, close it out that way. Finally, I want to close with this. Sometimes it's very hard to have tough conversations virtually. So sometimes you may have, hey guys, we're going to announce a layoff, we're going to announce. Now, you might want to do that by having one-on-ones first, but that doesn't mean you cannot have tough discussions all together. You know, I've had to call my leadership team together, and we've had to have some tough discussions in terms of where the business is going, our key priorities. But having a meeting virtually, does not mean you cannot have those dialogues. You just have to manage it properly, and you just have to facilitate it properly, and you should be able to have these tough dialogues. So have good. I wish you all the best. Virtual meetings are here to stay, I think. It's going to be the norm in the next many years to come. Let's be very productive. Let's make the most of it. And, let's stay healthy, stay well, and let's fight this together. All the best in your weeks and months ahead.